All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Jackie Powell. This is First Appearance Court. Today, I'll let you know if I've determined probable cause from the reports, the police reports I read this morning, and then we will also talk about release conditions. Today is not an adversarial hearing nor a trial, and so I encourage you to speak with your attorneys before speaking on the record because everything in this courtroom is being recorded and can be used against you at a later time. For those of you who are represented by the attorneys from the Public Defender's Office, in the courtroom with me, I have Mr. Brian Reedy. Over at the main jail, there is Attorney Hector Romero. And these attorneys are also available to all the other persons at the other facilities. You also need to know that in the courtroom with me, I have attorneys from the State Attorney's Office, Mr. Eric Linder, and
West Byron.
Good morning, thank you. And also, we have representatives from pretrial supervision and confinement status and the clerk of courts, and these persons are here to facilitate the morning's process. After today, you will be assigned to a specific division judge, and then moving forward, any pretrial motions, or if you end up going to trial, will be heard by that division judge. For some of you, today, if it's a misdemeanor matter or a municipal ordinance violation, you may be able to resolve your case at first appearance. That's just dependent on what's going on with you personally. For others of you who are charged with felony matters, for those of you with violation of probation where the judge signed that warrant and there's a no bond hold, there's nothing that can be done at first appearance today. You will have to see your division judge on those matters, okay? All right, I do have, Mr. Reedy, is there anyone to be called from the jail out of turn? Or Mr. Romero?
I- Judge, we have no one that's gonna be called out of turn. The only person, we have a person that requires a Creole interpreter, but that's whenever the interpreter gets here.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, and then Mr. Plan signed in for someone on page 20, Kenneth Holmes. If you'll let me know.
Exactly. Oh, he's here. Judge, he's been brought up.
Oh, oh, wow.
Your private attorney, sir. Come on up. Mr. Plant.
He hadn't been there, I called. He was.
That's, Mr. Plant right there in the.
Oh, well, he also has state charges. He has,
you have
he
him
has
too.
state
Mr. Romero,
charges
stay.
as well, Mr. Romero.
Stay, yeah. Mine he can
Sorry,
resolve.
he has felony matters as well,
And-
so maybe you want to speak with him and then we'll
Yeah.
recall, okay?
My charge can resolve, but yours,
right.
I don't know, he can't.
All right, Raquel Charleswell.
Hold on. Ms. Charleswell is a North Broward judge. She declined the services of the Public Defender's Office.
All right. Ms. Charleswell, do you understand that today you are entitled to an attorney for this hearing?
I do, yes. I do.
Okay, and so you are declining the services of the Public Defender's Office?
Absolutely, I am.
Okay. All right, you are before the court today on one charge of criminal mischief, ma'am. It's a felony charge. It's a third-degree felony, and I find probable cause.
Your Honor,
Yes.
just to let the court know. And I'm gonna email everyone to correct this. The mental health specialist referred her to mental health. I think the mistake she made, she saw the criminal mischief $200 or less.
Okay,
Here's the problem. Right now, it's charged as a felony
right.
because it was booked incorrectly.
Okay,
If you look at the PC affidavit, and maybe
so it's not a felony? It's a misdemeanor?
the problem is it has a felony case number because of the way it was booked. I don't know if maybe you want to put it
Assigned
on.
a case number?
Sometimes, Your Honor, confinement status can correct the booking sheet.
Okay,
Maybe if we want to put it on recall for a few minutes,
all right, so,
because if that can be done, then she
okay,
can be transferred to Judge Leonard Wren right now.
okay. All right, Miss Charleswell, we need to,
I'm sorry, the second issue, just to let the court know in advance,
what is the second issue?
is that for some reason, even though I don't think criminal mischief qualifies as a domestic violence charge, I don't know that it does. it's been submitted as, it's with our DV docket, so I don't know if it's been assigned to, Judge McHugh. I share the court's feelings, and, because I want to see the appropriate thing happen.
Okay, all right, so how
Your Honor,
can
if you want to put a
we get
recall, I'll
this
make some
fixed this
calls and see
morning?
what I can do.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Charleswell, I'm going to have to recall you. We have to fix some paperwork to accurately reflect the nature of the charge, and also to see if you can go to Judge Lerner-Ren's division, okay? All right,
My
so
pleasure, Your Honor.
I'll recall you as soon as we are able to get that information straightened
My
out.
pleasure.
All right.
Thank you for your assistance.
Okay. Tamara Sue Powers,
North Broward, Your Honor. Ms. Powers would like to resolve this matter this
okay?
morning, if that can be arranged.
All right, so Ms. Powers is before the court on a trespassing charge today. And I find probable cause. All right, I know that Ms. Powers has been before me, previously, but, she is asking, she wants to resolve her case today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have-
Be offered.
Time served? What? Okay. All right. Ms. Powers, the state is offering a time served to resolve your case. Do you want to accept that today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so before you accept that, I also want to let you know that I seen this probable cause affidavit, that they're saying that you were told before that you cannot be at this golf course. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And so today, I'm saying it on the record that you're not allowed to go back to that place. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So knowing that, do you still wish to take the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And do you understand everything we've discussed here today? Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
You understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand, ma'am, that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what plea do you wish to enter at this time, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence, ma'am, is adjudication time served and no return to 315 South 62nd Avenue in Hollywood. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Diana Lavayan.
All right, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you are before the court this morning on one charge of prostitution, and I find probable cause. Do we know what Ms. Lavayan wants to do today?
Ms. Levain, would you like to resolve this case this morning?
Yes. I want to be out on my own recordness and get a lawyer. I haven't spoken to anybody since I've been in here.
All right, I don't know who's talking to Ms. Lavayan, but she's got to answer on her own. All right, so,
We'll see you in front of the judge.
does she have any priors, state?
She went through diversion in 2011 for possession of cannabis and drug paraphernalia.
Okay, all right, Ms. Lavayan, I'll ROR you, and so that you can hire your attorney as you've requested. And you need to make sure that you check back with the court, so you know when you have to come back to court, okay?
Yes.
All right,
I haven't been in trouble.
all right, Kathleen Skodowski.
North Broward, Your Honor, and Ms. Sadowski would like to resolve this matter this morning.
All right, Ms. Skodowski is before the court for offering agreed to secure for lewd act, and I find probable cause. And she states she wishes to resolve her case today. You have an offer for her? All right, so Ms. Sklodowski, the offer to resolve your case today, if you wish, is adjudication and time served. Do you wish to accept
Yes.
that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And do you understand the offer that has been extended to you today, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
You understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand, ma'am, that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
What plea do you wish to enter at this time, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence, adjudication, time served. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Amanda Pitofsky.
Good luck.
All right, Ms. Pitofsky, you are before the court on charge one is a violation of misdemeanor probation. And that judge issued that capias with a $1,500 bond. And on number two is a misdemeanor capias, and that judge issued a no bond hold on that case. So I find probable cause, and you will have to go before your division judge.
Judge, Ms. Potosky did indicate to me she would be interested in resolving both of these matters this morning.
All right.
They're all from the same case. It was just, I paid the probation and I requested early release. And I thought I got the early release because I paid everything. And I did everything I was supposed to. But yet I got a warrant afterward. But I already paid the $750 and I didn't return. This is from a while ago. I haven't done anything. I haven't clean record or anything.
All right, state, just the capias, there was this no bond capias that was issued May 30th of 2019.
It must have been a
Ma'am,
mis-
Hold on, don't say anything.
I'm speaking to the prosecutor at this time. All right, so there's a no bond capias that was issued May 30th of 2019, but there is the warrant with the $1,500 bond is
guess
from
is-
December. And it says the same case number, so
Yeah,
is,
I'm gonna check honest, I have a suspicion what happened here.
okay,
Like, I suspect she didn't show up for a VOP hearing.
Okay.
And
She
did
that's
not.
why the, no bond capias was issued.
okay.
Frankly, here, one moment.
So first, there's a VOP warrant with a $1,500 bond, and did she post that bond?
No, Your Honor, see what happened was. What happened was, Your Honor, Ms. Pitofsky filed a request with Judge Levine to early terminate her probation.
Okay,
That was denied.
okay,
The affidavit, then this affidavit was filed, and Ms. Pitofsky filed a request form to have the warrant recalled, which was denied. A court date was set for the VOP for a status conference. So the warrant, which she failed to appear at, which has resulted in no bond capias, the warrant also was never actually served on her since Judge Levine set the status prior to it being served. Your Honor, in light of the fact that she failed to appear after the warrant was issued by Judge Levine, I would ask that the no bond hold control, since that's what was ordered more recently. If you'd like, I can print out the register of actions, if you see it on the clerk system.
no, that's okay, I'm just, I just want Ms. Potofsky to hear what's going on and why she is where she's at. If the judge denied you twice,
And actually, Your Honor, what actually happened, I'm sorry, she actually made a request to have it reset again. Judge Levine granted it and reset the hearing, and Ms. Potofsky failed to appear at that. And at that point, she kept the capias.
all right, so I'm not gonna resolve the case today. I'll leave things in place, okay? You had several opportunities to go before the judge and make this right, so
I
you can't.
didn't get some mail
Ma'am,
and I didn't know when it was.
all right. Well,
That's part
you
of
wrote the
problem.
court 2 times. You didn't
I went
provide
to
your
the court.
correct address?
No, I went to the court
Okay.
and a lot of times
All right, ma'am, I've made a ruling at this time.
So I
Dinell Tillman,
so I can't pay bond or anything?
ma'am, the judge issued a no bond hold.
Well, what
Okay,
am I being held for? I don't understand what I'm being held
all
for.
right. You know exactly what you're being held for. It's the same thing that you wrote to the court 2 times on. So we're done.
paid
We are
myself.
done at this time, okay? Dinell Tillman.
She's here present, Judge Jermaine.
Ms. Tillman is before the court on 2 misdemeanor capiases. This was issued September 16th of this year for not showing up for calendar call. That charge is a trespassing charge, and then the other case is also not showing up, but this is from September of 2017 for a prostitution charge. All right? So, what does Ms. Tillman want to do?
Judge, speaking with Ms. Tillman earlier today, she wishes to resolve these matters.
The state's offer, Your Honor, on count 1 would be withholding court costs with an HIV test. And on count 2, an adjudication, time served, and no return to 2801 West Broward Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
She wishes to accept the state's offer, Judge.
All right, Ms. Tillman, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And do you understand the offers that have been extended to you today to resolve your cases?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
You understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right.
Yes.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
Depression.
And is there anything about that today that would prevent you from making a decision? And do you understand, ma'am, that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes.
All right, what plea do you wish to enter at this time, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence, ma'am, case 1, withhold adjudication, court costs, and you are required to take an HIV test. And you must show proof that you took the test. And now number 2, the sentence is adjudication and time served. Okay?
Those are no.
Judge, and whenever the court is ready, we're ready to proceed on Mr. Kenneth Holmes.
Okay. Mr. Holmes. I'm sorry, State, were you saying something?
Your Honor, the no return, but it's a moot issue. There's already a trespass warning, so.
Okay,
that's
all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Page 20, Kenneth Holmes. All right, Mr. Holmes is before the court on 1 charge of selling counterfeit drug. Number 2 is distribute or deliver heroin. And number 3 is a misdemeanor capias.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that the 3rd charge is the municipal ordinance violation charge. I find probable cause. And does anyone wish to be heard as to the bonds?
Judge, at this time, nothing from the defense in respect to counts 1 and 2.
Okay,
Judge, you could resolve count 3 if it would help him post the bond on the other one.
okay. Well, does he want to resolve count 3?
If not, he has court.
That's the city public defender, let him know that if you wish to do it.
Yeah, I wish to do it.
Let him know.
What could I? Yes, I wish to resolve. What's count 3?
three, the city.
Count three is
municipal.
this is a municipal ordinance violation,
Controls.
Yes, ma'am.
and that charge is also possession of controlled substance. Will that,
Yes, ma'am.
and I don't know what effect, if any, that can have on his
You lose your
pending
license.
charges. So,
Or you can go, or we'll see you Monday.
so you have court on
to you.
Monday, because this may
Whatever you
affect, you know, your pending felony matters, and also cause you to lose your license. So, you have a bond of $500 there, and you'll see your division judge on Monday, so I'll leave the standard bonds in place, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
All
Have a good
right,
weekend, Mr.
you too.
Your Honor, our Creole interpreter is present.
All right, good morning. How are you? I'm wonderful too. All right, who needed
On page
this?
12 of the court's docket, we have Pierre Lafranc.
What's the name?
Mr. Pierre LaFranc on page 12, Judge. And also one other thing, Mr. Reedy, we're gonna require a Spanish interpreter. Gentleman just came up when we discovered it, and he was on page, what page was he on to? Page 9 of the docket, Judge. We're gonna need a Spanish interpreter for Mr. I believe Mr. Alexander de Jesus.
All right,
Okay.
I'll make that call for you.
Thank you. Mr. LaFranc. Pierre LaFranc?
All right, Mr. Interpreter, when you're ready. Right. You're born ready. Do you swear or affirm to interpret from Creole to English and from English to Creole?
Yes, I do.
All right, and please state your name for the record.
Jacques Bayardel, Bayardell.
Thank you, Mr. Bayardel. Pierre Lafranc, you are before the court today
Pierre Lafranc, ou devant court le jeudi,
for an ad charge, which is an immigration hold.
pour un immigration hold.
It is a no bond hold that is placed by the Department of Homeland Security,
Département Homeland Sécurité, il pas bon bon pour ça.
and I find probable cause,
Et moi, je joins pour pas bonne cause.
and you will have to appear before an immigration judge on this charge.
Faut paraître devant un juge immigration pour charger ça.
Okay? All right. Is there anyone else who needs a Creole interpreter?
Not here at Maine, Judge.
All right, Mr. Bayardel, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Lucille Bones.
No problem.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, you are before the court on one charge of fraud, uttering a false instrument, and I find probable cause.
Judge, I'm going to ask the court to leave the bond in place.
Okay. All right, I find probable cause, and you have $1,000 bond, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Carlene Cadet.
Paul Line, Your Honor. Hello.
And Ms. Cadet, you are before the court on one charge of fraud, uttering a false instrument, and I find probable cause. And, yes, pretrial is standing.
Pretrial is asking you to revoke her pretrial in case number 1800165 MM10A. She was on pretrial for 4 counts of battery and 1 count of criminal mischief.
When was she placed on
She was
pretrial?
placed on August 23rd of this year.
August of this year.
I'll let you resolve it today, maybe, Your Honor.
You cannot resolve a felony matter at first appearance, ma'am. So that's not possible today. So you are on pretrial, and pretrial is requesting on another case that I revoke your pretrial at this time. That you were placed on pretrial August 23rd of this year, and with the new law violation, you are in violation. I'm sorry?
Judge review.
All right.
Judge review.
All right, so as to case number 18-001-658 MM10A, I am going to grant pretrial's request to revoke your bond. There are 5 counts.
Yes.
All right, on that case, I'm going to impose $1,000 on each charge, so you have a total bond of $5,000 on the case that you were previously on pretrial for.
Where do we get the money, Your Honor? I'm disabled and I'm homeless.
Well,
And the pretrial case is an old case. It was my family. It's 2 years ago. And they didn't show up to court.
ma'am, you were only
At all.
placed on pretrial in August, okay?
No, the pretrial case is over.
No, it's not, it doesn't matter, you were,
No.
ma'am, you were placed on
Okay.
pretrial August of this year, and today you're before me for another, charge. So I'm revoking the pretrial, you have $1,000 on each, charge there, and on this new arrest, you have another $1,000 bond, okay?
I look like I got $6,000.
All right, yeah. You don't want me to answer that question. Kiana Pettyway?
No problem, John. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Pettyway is before the court this morning. One charge of assault, and number two is criminal mischief, over $1,000, and I find probable cause.
Your Honor, she was placed on pretrial October 5th for criminal mischief in case number 19012067 CF10A, and pretrial is asking that you revoke her pretrial.
We're talking about October 5th of this year?
Yes, ma'am. Judge Murphy put her on.
All right, Ms. Pettyway, I am going to revoke your pretrial supervision on 19012067 CF10A, and I am going to impose a $1,500 bond on that charge, on that case. And as to the new arrest, ma'am,
So don't worry about it.
I'll leave the $500 bond in place, okay?
Your Honor, just request that.
And no return, no return?
Oh, it was a nice streak while it lasted.
I didn't do it that time, that was it.
Likely story.
Don't. All right, Barbara Valdez, yes. Yes, Deputy.
North Broward's requesting that you would take one out of turn, please.
Okay, who's that?
Page 12, Alejandro Evangelista.
It's your, should be your first felony. It's the guy with charge number 8.
All right, on Mr. Alejandro Evangelista, you're before the court today. This is an add charge. This is now charge number 8, and it is for grand theft. This is for incident that occurred on September 23rd of this year. So September 23rd. I find probable cause, and you have $1,000 bond on this charge, okay? All right, sir.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Barbara Valdez.
Paul Ryan, Your Honor.
Ms. Valdez, you are before the court for 2 additional charges, 11 and 12, now retail theft, and I find probable cause. And you have $1,000 bond on each of those charges. Okay?
Can you tell me where they're from? Because I just keep getting added charges and added charges since I've been here. I came in for a warrant and now I have 10, 11 added charges for no reason. Like every time I come to court, you don't tell me what they're for, and I'm really nervous every time I come because I don't know why I keep getting added charges.
Well, so this is for an August 29 incident where it is alleged that you took possession of or carried away merchandise valued of $2,539.98 and $1,069 with the intent to deprive the merchant of possession, use, or benefit or full retail value. During both incidents, you acted in concert with one or more other individuals within one or more establishments to distract the merchant or merchant's employee in order to carry out the offense. The first offense occurred at Leslie's Pool Supply Store on University Drive. The second incident occurred on September 15th. While the
But
witness.
that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, that university store, this is the fourth charge that they done gave me.
All right.
How did they complete 4 charges on the same, like on the same number?
Well, they're saying that there are different times and dates. And so you need to have this conversation with your attorney so you can work out all the dates and times, okay?
Thank you.
Arnold Samai?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You are before the court on one charge of domestic battery by strangulation, and I find probable cause. State.
Your Honor, I just need a moment to enter his information in the database. Mr. Romero wants to go ahead on that. That's fine.
Sir Romero, the state's gathering information, so if you want to go first.
No problem, Joe. And speaking to Mr. Samai, I did advise him that this is a domestic situation and of course gonna be ordering no contact. He will be abiding by that no contact order. He'll be residing separate and apart from the alleged victim. Now, he's 44 years old. He's been here more than half of his life. He's about 26 years in our community. My understanding, he has one prior contact with the criminal justice system that went forward. It was a 2001 DUI. He has no other prior convictions or anything like that similar to this offense, Judge. Now, my understanding is where he was living, they were renting, they didn't own, they were renting an apartment with their 2 children, about $1,500 a month. He's going to be living with a friend to help him out during this period in time. Now, he does have other family members that reside in our community that he gave me their phone number. I'm going to be reaching out to help post his monetary bond. But we're going to be requesting that the court consider a bond somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,500 to $5,000 on Mr. Samai's behalf, Judge.
Your Honor, Mr. Samai's criminal history is as Mr. Romero represented. Based on the level of violence alleged in this probable cause affidavit, the state would be requesting a $7,500 bond and no victim contact.
All right, based on the allegations, I am going to impose a $10,000 bond and no victim contact. And that means no phone calls, no text messages, no social media, no third-party contact. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Danny Jones?
Mr. Jones is approaching, Judge.
Mr. Jones, you're before the court. Charge 1 is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, domestic violence. Number 2, 2 and 3 are touch or strike battery, domestic violence. 4 and 5 are felony cases, and those have no bond holds. One for Judge Alspector and the other for Judge Weeks. And those are not for magistrate. I find probable cause. I'm sorry, I think I misspoke. Both cases are for Judge Weeks. The touch or strike battery is the one that's before Judge Alspector. Okay? I'm sorry, go ahead.
In addition to his pending case, Mr. Jones' criminal history includes robbery by sudden snatching in Broward in 2013. He was sentenced to 5-year state prison, released October 22nd of 2017. It's also been to state prison 2007, robbery, sudden snatching, possession of cocaine, loading and prowling in 2009. based on his history and the allegations in this case, state would be requesting $7,500 bond on count 1, $2,500 bonds on counts 2 and 3. No victim contact.
Okay.
Judge, and speaking of Mr. Jones, I did advise him as far as counts 4 and 5 are no bond holds, that he'll be seeing his judge on Monday. However, in reference to counts 1, 2, and 3, the monetary suggestion that the state has given is something Mr. Jones cannot afford. Now, he's been residing here his whole entire life. He is working at this time. He works at a company which manufactures rubber stamps. He's been there for 1 year now, making about $270 per week. Judge, he has family that live in our community. Specifically, he's going to be reaching out to his father to help post his bond. He works in a food truck. Now, my understanding, Judge, is the alleged victim, I believe his wife, does not wish to go forward. So, Judge, what I'm going to be asking the court to consider is on count 1, a $2,500 bond, and on counts 2 and 3, a $1,000 bond each. And Judge, also, Mr. Jones, I did advise him not to speak about the facts of the case, but he wishes to address the court.
I was just saying, Your Honor, that, the cases that was in the past, I served my debt to society for those cases. And I'm not even, I'm working now. I'm not that same person I was, though, back then, Your Honor.
You mean
I'm
back?
not that same person.
You mean back in July?
No, I'm back for 2013 case. I paid my debt to society 5 years in prison for a robbery that I didn't even commit.
Well, even if I don't consider what happened 5 years ago, I have these allegations that are before me, and that's what I'm basing my probable cause determination finding on. And just so you know that there are 2 alleged victims in this case. And it is alleged that you, under disguise, went to their home. When they opened the door thinking it was someone else, you came running in, and that you took a piece of marble granite rock and struck one person in the head, and arm and shoulder, and then that the other alleged victim, who's your wife, that you hit her, chased her outside. She was outside in the parking lot in her panties. You slammed her on top of a car, and you drove your car around the parking lot trying to run her over. Those are the allegations that I have before me this morning.
Your Honor, just one other thing I want to bring to the court's attention. The alleged victim that Mr. Romero is advising the court, seeking to waive prosecution, sought and obtained $1,500 of restitution from the Crimes Compensation Trust Fund. We received notification of that in September of this year.
So based on those allegations, sir, I find probable cause, and charge 1, I am going to impose a $7,500 bond, and 2 and 3, $2,500 each, and no victim contact, which means no phone calls, no text messages, no social media, no third-party contact. Do you understand that, sir?
I was told to my mother before we came here.
Do you understand?
Do you understand no victim contact?
No?
You understand no victim contact? You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we have the Spanish interpreter here, and Alexander de Jesus Hernandez.
Senor de Jesus. He's approaching, Judge.
Do you swear or affirm to interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish?
I do, Guillermo Sinisi, court interpreter.
Thank you. What page is Mr. De Jesus on? 9, page 9.
Thank you.
And, Your Honor, before the court makes a finding.
Yes.
Your Honor, would concede there should be no probable cause for the battery count at this time.
Okay.
Su señoría, antes de que decrete cualquier cosa, su señoría, yo concedo que no debería haber ningún atestado o motivo fundado para el cargo de lesiones.
I'm going to ask for 24 hours so the state can attempt to obtain the report from the alleged October 2nd incident.
Voy a pedir que si le puede otorgar a la Fiscalía 24 horas para que pueda conseguir el informe del alegado incidente del 2 de octubre.
All right, so at this time, I find probable cause for the trespassing charge.
En este momento dictamino que sí existe motivo fundado para el cargo de entrada o permanencia ilícita.
No probable cause on 1.
No hay atestado todavía para el 1 o motivo fundado.
And the state has 24 hours to perfect.
Y la Fiscalía tiene 24 horas para perfeccionar eso.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
he was placed on pretrial on the 8th of this month for possession of cocaine and trespassing of property in case number 19012075 CF10A. Pretrial is asking that you revoke his pretrial.
Su señoría fue puesto bajo libertad provisional el 8 del 10 por posesión de cocaína y entrada de permanencia ilícita en el caso 19012075 CF10A. Libertad provisional está pidiendo que si podría revocar la fianza.
All right, as to the new arrest and the trespassing charge for which I found probable cause,
Con respecto al nuevo arresto y el cargo de entrada de permanencia ilícita por el cual sí dictamine que existe motivo fundado,
I'm imposing a $500 bond on that charge.
por ese cargo voy a poner una fianza de $500.
All right, as to case number 19-01275 CF10A, pretrial is asking that the pretrial be revoked. I am going to grant that at this time.
Con respecto al caso 19-01275 CF10A, la Oficina de Libertad Provisional está pidiendo que la libertad provisional sea revocada y voy a otorgar ese recurso.
I will impose a $1,500 bond on charge 1
Voy a poner una fianza de $1,500 para el primer cargo
and a $500 bond on number 2.
y una fianza de $500 para el segundo cargo.
All right, is there anyone else who needs a Spanish interpreter?
¿Alguien más que requiera servicio de intérprete en español?
Not here, ma'am.
All right, hearing nothing, thank you, Mr. Sinisi.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Good morning, good afternoon.
You too. Sardar Faraz.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, good morning, sir. You are before the court this morning. Charge 1 is abuse of child without great bodily harm. And number 2 is touch or strike battery, domestic, and I find probable cause.
Your Honor, Mr. Faraz has no criminal history. That being said, I'm requesting a $5,000 bond on count 1. I'm not asking for a bond to be set on count 2, considering both charges involve the same allegations against the same alleged victim, but I am requesting an order of no victim contact.
Okay.
Judge, at this time, I'm going to be requesting a $2,000 bond on count 1. We have no objection as far as the state's recommendation as far as ROR on count 2. As you heard, this is his first contact with the criminal justice system. He's a registered voter here in our community. I did advise him as far as the no contact. He will be abiding by that. He works locally at a local convenience store as a cashier. He's been working there for about 4 years. He's going to have to find a separate place to live, separate and apart from the alleged victim. His financial resources are limited, and that's why I'm asking for a $2,000 bond on count 1 on his behalf.
All right, I'm going to impose a $3,500 bond on 1, ROR on 2, and no victim contact until further order of the court. William Arney.
North Broward.
Sure. All right, Mr. Arney, you are before the court. This is an add charge for battery.
Well, they dropped the first charge because they no processed it yesterday in court.
It was null pros.
That is correct.
It was null pros because it was upfiled, Your Honor, to this charge based on the prior battery. Your Honor, when
The
he
prior
first,
battery was a misdemeanor battery.
Sir, you, one person at a time, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Your Honor, when he first appeared before Judge Roballo at first appearance, Judge Roballo said a $1,000 bond. I have no reason to believe that Judge Roballo was not advised about the prior battery that led to the upfile, so I'm just requesting that the same $1,000 bond and no victim contact be imposed on this new case.
All right, so just so you understand, there's a misdemeanor charge that you came in on. That was null prost, and now they've upfiled to a felony. That's because this is a second or subsequent offense.
Yes, Your Honor. However, can I please speak for one moment?
Okay.
The
Don't
victim,
talk about the facts of the
alleged
case.
Victim, no, the alleged victim has filed a waiver of prosecution and removed the no contact because she needs to talk to me
Well,
in order to do things out in the world.
That's not
My
kind.
wife is a very young woman and she has problems and she needs my help.
Okay, so it does not quite work that way. She cannot lift the no contact order. That can only be lifted by a judge. Okay, so that's the first thing. The no contact order is in place until a judge signs an order saying it's no longer in place.
Your Honor, I checked it out, and see there's nothing to reflect that while the case is a misdemeanor, that Judge McHugh signed an order modifying the no contact order.
So, right, okay. All right.
Okay,
and so,
well, we've been in contact this whole time talking.
All
Don't
right.
say that.
You have $1,000 bond, and I think you've just added more problems to your life.
That's ridiculous.
All right. All right, Mr. Nanda is still on a medical
As far as I can tell,
medical reset.
medical loan.
And then Anthony Lewis.
He just admitted to it.
Mr. Lewis is here present, Judge?
All right, Mr. Lewis is before the court on one charge of possession of cocaine. And number 2 is a traffic infraction, a seatbelt violation. That's not for magistrate. Number 3 is a felony battery charge. And I find probable cause.
Judge, when was the date of incident on count 3?
July 23rd of this year.
Thank you, Judge.
And, Your Honor, Your Honor, the prior battery was from, at least as far as Broward, as '03. That year, there was also another battery with a violation of a pretrial release condition, that being a no contact order. He's had other priors. Those are the 2 battery related. State would be requesting a $2,000 bond on count 3, no victim contact.
Okay. It's $2,000 on a $1,000 bond on 1 and a $2,000 bond on 3. Okay.
Thank you.
Corey Teague and no victim contact.
No victim contact, sir.
Corey Teague.
Mr. T, come on up, please. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. You are before the court on one charge of petty theft, and I find probable cause.
Judge, Mr. T wishes to resolve this matter today.
That's not a problem, Your Honor. We're just reviewing his record for a moment just to see what the offer will be.
Okay.
Your Honor, admittedly, Mr. Teague has a lengthy record, but because I see no priors for theft or theft-related, the offer would be a withholding court cost, no return.
He wishes to accept that.
All right, Mr. Teague, do you understand that offer that has been extended to you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you wish to accept that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And do you understand everything that we've discussed here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No, I do not.
You understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No.
And do you understand, sir, that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes.
What plea do you wish to enter at this time, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence is withhold adjudication and court cost and no return to this location. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes. Yes.
That location is is Home Depot, 1951 South State Road 7 in West Park.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Jonathan Esposito.
Your approach to Judge, Chairman. Come on up, Mr. Esposito. 9.
All right, Mr. Esposito, this is, you're before the court for a capias that was issued October 2nd. The charge there is petty theft. You do have a $500 bond. I find probable cause. What is,
Judge, Mr. Esposito wishes to resolve this matter today.
okay?
The state's offer at this time, Your Honor, would be a withhold, no return to Home Depot, address 750 North University Drive, Coral Springs.
All right, withhold court costs and no return. Does Mr. Esposito wish to accept that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And do you understand everything that we've discussed here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
You understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand, sir, that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
What plea do you wish to enter at this time?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence serves withhold adjudication, court costs, and no return to that location. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Kimar Garrick.
Mr. Garrett, come on up, please. Please approach the Judge, Chairman.
All right, Mr. Garrick, you're before the court on one charge of loitering or prowling, and I find probable cause.
Judge, at this time, we're going to just be asking the court to sign a property order so he can self-bond.
All right. Delano Gordon.
I've been advised he bonded, Judge.
Mr. Gordon bonded. All right, next we have Morris Brown.
Bonded.
Aaron Keeshan.
Bonded.
Okay. Antonio Rossi.
Bonded.
All right, and now Mr. Romero is singing.
One more time.
Renee Gonzalez Medina.
Bonded.
All right.
And that's it. Mr. Jacob. One.
All right, Carlin Jacobs.
He's approaching, Judge.
Morning.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Jacobs, you're before the court. This is for a KPS on a traffic matter, and I find probable cause.
Judge, and speaking of Mr. Jacobs, he wishes to resolve this matter today.
All right, and just so we know, this is driving while license suspended is the charge.
Doesn't matter. Oh, it does. They're making the Sentinel methods.
One moment, we need to check the offense date.
Okay,
If it was before October 1st, it won't count for the 10 days. If it is, and it's its third, after October 1st, it's a mandatory 10-day sentence. It's a case. Yeah.
Okay, Your Honor.
Needs to be advised of that.
No, here's the situation.
okay,
And I was just speaking with my colleague, because this would be, from what I can tell, a fourth.
fourth.
But because the incident occurred before October 1st, the state be willing to waive the 10-day jail sentence. However, pleading to this still could result in a 5-year habitualization. So
Right.
he actually, because I see he was habitualized for 5 years in 2012, never reinstated from that. This could result in a new 5-year habitualization because it was never reinstated.
Let me talk to Mr. Jacobs.
Yes, it could,
All right.
Your Honor, and as well as if he picks up another DWLS after this, after October 1st, he's gonna be looking at a mandatory 10-day jail.
Right, well, we've been trying to tell as many persons that as we can, so. But based on Mr. Jacob's circumstances this morning, I'm not gonna take a plea because I think this is something that requires more time to go over with his attorney. Is it only traffic matters that he has in his priors?
That I'll check, Your Honor.
All right, and just so Mr. Jacobs know, this capers was issued because you didn't show up for court when you were supposed to. You had an arraignment and you didn't go to the arraignment. So that's a problem. If your address is not correct with the clerk's office, you need to make sure that you correct that.
I'm sorry, it won't happen again, Judge.
Traffic matters in cannabis.
All right, so, all right, so I'll ROR you at this time, and with two words of with a word of caution that you need to make sure that you stay in touch with your attorney or you check with the clerk's office for your next court date so you don't miss court.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that? And if there is something that you need to do to fix your license, maybe you need to do that as well, okay?
I will, thank you.
All right, James Saunders.
Mr. Saunders, come on up, please. He's approaching, Judge.
All right, so Mr. Saunders is before the court again. This is for an ad charge, another ad charge. This is now number 4 for a grand theft.
Yes, Your Honor.
This incident occurred October 5 at Costco. Okay,
The state would just be asking that, since bond on counts 1, 2, and 3 has already been set at 1,000, that on count 4 it be set at 1,000 as well.
all right, I'll leave count 4 at $1,000.
Judge, yeah, he has other matters. He was here yesterday. All I was
Yes.
gonna ask the court to do, would the court sign an order recommending he be placed in the Narcotics Anonymous program? I believe I just heard of it. He advised me there's a program of that offered here at the Broward County Jail.
They have that at the jail?
It's at the it's at the Conti facility, Narcotics NAAA dorm.
Well, if they confinement, you know about that? Confinement is looking puzzled. She said, life skills and SAP.
There's life skills, spiritual.
Well, somebody there would be able to tell us, do they have that program there? I don't want to recommend a program that doesn't exist.
They have NA.
SAP, I'll sign the order for a SAP, if that's, I don't know if that's what they're calling.
Narcotics Anonymous.
My understanding from what this gentleman's telling me, Judge, it's offered at Conti, so here at Maine, they don't know about it. Maybe classifications or confinement status would know more about that.
Well, I'm telling you that confinement is looking at me puzzled, so
Conti, Your Honor.
Yes, Conti? You want to chime in? Yes.
There is an NAAA, but it's not a dorm for that. They do run it through the life skills and SAP.
Oh, okay. All right, so it's not
A little
separate.
way back, they had a dorm for that, but that's no more. But they run it through life skills and SAP.
All right, so I can sign it. So if he was in SAP, he can do that.
More so life skills.
Oh, life skill. Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
That's right. All right, so you heard, he's got to be in life skills to be able to participate in that. So if he wants, I can sign that order to put him in, recommend him in.
We would ask for it.
All right?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
And
Oh, wait,
Now
wait,
another-
hold on. Now, yes.
Just write that on the order, and he'll be added to the list.
Ah, so now I have three different,
You gotta find a pen with invisible ink.
I,
What's the vision?
I know. Well, Mr. Reedy, you need to pay attention.
I say just.
You know, because first we were told that it's through life skills, but now pretrial is,
It's not the same as life skills and SAP.
all right.
It says it's separate, but it still goes through their programs department.
And what is the name of this program?
She said you can just put NAAA on the.
NAAA?
Yes.
All right.
There is a dorm for them.
And, all right, is that our final answer? All right, so per classification, I can sign an order to recommend that he goes into NAAA. All right?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
good-
you.
Your
good
Honor?
luck.
Thank you.
Could we
Yes.
please-
Oh, wait, Mr. Lunder still.
Could we please recall, no, nothing on this, Hector.
Oh, okay.
Could we please recall Ms. Charleswell's case? She's at North.
Charlesville, yes.
What page are?
She's at North, Hector.
We've made a correction.
Hector, she's at North. First case on the docket.
She was at North Broward, I believe.
Yes.
All right, so Miss Charlesville, yes, state.
Yes, and I want to thank confinement status for updating this because now that she's being booked as a misdemeanor, Your Honor can transfer her to Judge Lerner Wren. Additionally, Your Honor, while this is being classified by the clerk's office as a DV, I suspected and I reached out and confirmed, criminal mischief by itself is not a qualifying domestic
Right.
violence offense, so Judge Lerner Wren can take the,
All right, so Ms. Charleswell, I find probable cause for a misdemeanor criminal mischief charge. Okay, so it's no longer a felony that, as previously stated, it's a misdemeanor. And yes,
I
ma'am.
apologize. I just wanna interject because there's a miscommunication. I'm from the Virgin Islands, the United States Virgin Islands. I'm governed by the law in the United States Virgin Islands. Prostitution and extortion is illegal in the United States Virgin Islands. I do apologize. That's why he doesn't have the correct information. I do apologize.
All right. All right, you're gonna see Judge Lerner Wren on this charge, okay? I'll
I
sign.
just wanted to give him time to update his paperwork, cause he's gonna have a lot of paperwork over there for corruption.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give him time to relax and pay attention. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you.
Miss
God
Charleswell, just one moment. Your Honor, and I apologize if you already issued. Just one, I'd ask for no contact with Shayla Phillips.
That's the prostitute. I'm glad you called her name in public, cause you're a public defender. I'm military. Thank you, Your Honor. I'm retired. If I can, would I be able to extend a state of emergency in the state of Florida? They're incompetent. I'm starving.
All right, we can't do that, but you're where you'll get some
Food?
you'll get food and you'll get help.
Thank you, thank you. Oh,
for the-
wonderful, delightful.
Just to let Your
Public
Honor know,
defender,
I've-
corruption, prostitution, figure it out.
I've already been in contact with Judge Lorenz.
Thank you.
They're having her screened. They've already emailed the doctor.
Thank you. All right, I'll sign clerk an order to transfer to Judge Lerner, okay? All right.
No, I know, I saw.
All right. Estin Phil's Magri.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, sir, you're before the court today for an ad charge, and it's for an immigration hold. And that hold has been requested by the Department of Homeland Security. I find probable cause. You'll be held no bond to appear before an immigration judge on this charge, okay?
Judge, if I could interject for one moment.
Yes.
We had a gentleman on the docket yesterday by the name of Marton Molnar, and we requested a Russian interpreter for this afternoon.
No,
There
that
is
was
no
for
Russian
yesterday afternoon. And by the time we came back in the afternoon, he had bonded.
Oh, he bonded?
That's what, if we're talking about the same case.
Your Honor,
Molnar?
No, that was the case, hold on one second. That was the case, Your Honor, that you gave the state the extension of 40 days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm sorry. So
Yeah,
I'm
he's
talking
still
about
in
the wrong case.
Conte.
So he's, all right, so what, he needs a Russian, the other gentleman was a Hebrew, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, he's got an immigration no bond hold, Mr. Molnar does, in any
Okay.
event. I'm advised that we have a Russian interpreter available this morning.
Okay,
But we do not have a Russian interpreter available this afternoon.
okay.
And they want to know if we can call Mr. Molnar's case this morning.
Can we get the paperwork? Can you request the paperwork? Is it just for an immigration hold?
It's an immigration hold, and it's also domestic violence, aggravated battery, domestic battery by
Okay.
strangulation.
We'll ask the clerk to send out an email to see if you can get the paperwork on that case, and then yes, we will work with the time that we have the interpreter available.
Yes, that'll be fine, Judge.
Okay.
Let me just check back with them.
All right. All right, and so now we have Jepthe Jean-Francois.
He's approaching, Judge, you're at me.
All right, Mr. Jean-Francois, you are before the court this morning. This is for an ad charge, which is an immigration hold. And that hold has been placed by the Department of Homeland Security. I find probable cause, and you're being held no bond to appear before an immigration judge on this charge. Okay? All right, Robert Steinley. Steinley. All right, Mr. Steinley's before the court on one charge of possession of methamphetamine, and number two is an out-of-state felony hold out of New York. And I find probable cause.
Judge, on count two, is that holding him?
If that hold is what?
In my docket, for some reason, usually it would say no bond, but it has NA.
Yeah, I think that's a misprint, Hector, because on the booking,
Misprint.
it's no bond.
Gotcha, so it is holding.
Or is that,
No. There was no bond judge, but then the state of New York dismissed their hold. That's why it's now being held on discount. The state of New York, what? Dismissed the hold? Oh, yesterday. All right. So the hold has been dismissed. So that's why it says NA. So he only has the bond on,
And Judge, from what Mr. Steinley advised me, Judge, he's not gonna be in a position to post a monetary bond or anything like that, Judge. So he's asking on this nonviolent offense if the court would consider an ROR on his behalf.
once Mr. Romero has more information, I'm showing Lyndhurst, New York address. It appears no ties to the community.
That is true. He's down here, Judge, on vacation. He's been down here, my understanding is 2 weeks, but he lives, in Long Island, where him and his girlfriend rent an apartment. He said right now he can't post anything.
While New York may not wish to extradite
It's
him,
timely.
while New York may not wish to extradite him, I think it is worth taking into consideration that the case out of New York is a violation of a court order.
And those are for drug charges, criminal mischief, out of New York.
The violation of court order, the violation of court order has to do with, looks like criminal contempt and a family offense. I suspect it has something to do with violating an injunction, because I do see injunctions have been issued.
I am going to leave the $1,000 bond in place, all right? All right, do we have Sage Donati in the room on page 23?
I represent Sage Donati. Good morning.
Good morning.
Judge, I've been advised he's in regular court 5900.
Okay.
He has court in front of Judge Bober this morning. I just wanted to make sure that I knew he was on your docket. The state and I are agreeing, and I can waive his appearance. We're agreeing just to leave the bonds as is.
All right.
That is correct, Judge.
All right, so I'll find probable cause for these ad charges, and we'll leave the standard bonds in place.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, Glenwood Walker.
No problem, John.
All right, Mr. Walker is before the court on one petty theft charge. It's a felony petty theft, so it's a third-degree felony charge. And I find probable cause. And this is an incident from June of this year at the 7-Eleven, okay?
Judge, I don't think Mr. Walker is going to be able to post that $750 bond. If his prior record is not too extensive, I'd ask the court to consider pretrial release.
Just a moment to review, Your Honor.
Okay.
Miss,
Yes, sir.
ma'am,
Yes, sir.
could you tell me what this happened? Cause I don't, recall it.
I just told you that it happened in June at a 7-Eleven.
Judge, the only thing the state would ask is if you can inquire as to residency. I see on his booking, one residence in Boca Raton, and then on the police affidavit, a Pembroke Pines address.
Mr. Walker, what's your current address?
I live in Boca Raton, 15th Avenue with Mr. Bat Mason's apartment, Investment Limited. In Boca Raton, apartment 4, 111.
Is that you're staying with someone there? Or you?
No, Mr. Bat Mason, the owner of Investment Limited, is responsible for me. I'm a mental patient.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was just going to ask Your Honor, because I see that, let me see, Mr. Walker on September 20th of this year updated his mailing and residence address with DHSMV to a West Palm Beach address on Australian Avenue.
Oh.
No, that's the idea. They're supposed to be finding me some housing for 20%, 30% of my income, which is disability. And for the Lord's Place program, they have a program for mentally ill. And I'm on the list to getting housing through them that only charge 30% of disability and for your, like they call it Henderson here, but they don't call it Henderson there.
Okay. Has there been any incidents?
Your Honor.
This is a not in custody case.
Yeah,
I'm kind of.
Here's the situation. Frankly, I'm not going to have an objection to pretrial, and the reason being, in 2010, he had an ag assault, strong arm robbery, false imprisonment. He went through mental health court. It was dismissed
All right.
February 26, 2018. If this is where this case goes, I imagine he'll end up on pretrial.
All right. So, Mr. Walker, I am going to release you to pretrial supervision. But
Yes, ma'am.
today is Friday, so by Monday morning, you have to report to the pretrial office. If you don't report, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that,
Yes,
sir?
ma'am.
The
Yes,
deputy,
can you give me something where that's
the,
located?
the
Yes, we're gonna
deputies,
give you a map, Mr. Walker.
the deputy's gonna give that to you right now, and then you will know where you have to be by Monday morning, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
So what do I do now?
You're going home, but we're gonna get you the pretrial Monday. Come on.
Okay, thank you, young lady.
Judge, this is Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tell him.
I'll take young lady any day.
Said it something.
David Valenzuela. All right, Mr. Valenzuela is before the court on one charge of burglary, unoccupied structure unarmed, and I find probable cause.
Judge, Mr. Bell is financially indigent. He's homeless at this time. He's looking for work. I asked him if there's anyone I can contact to post his monetary bond. He said there's nobody. So, Judge, he's asking to be released on pretrial release.
All right, State?
Your Honor, it looks like he just got put into pretrial diversion in Palm Beach County 2 weeks ago. He was arrested on back-to-back days for theft, and then the next day he was arrested for loitering or prowling.
All right, and so these allegations are that he broke into a bank. Was it a bank? City National Bank. So I am going to leave the bond in place at this time at $7,500. So Mr. Monson, is that the one? Or that needed the interpreter or no? Mr. Reedy? No. All right, no. Oh, no, that's the one we're waiting for that paperwork. So Molnard. All right, Eduardo Monson German.
He's here, present, Judge Emmanuel.
All right, good morning. Sir, you're before the court. Charge one is intimidation, right, send, or threat to kill or injure, and number two is stalking, and I find probable cause for these charges. All right. I'll hear from the parties at this time. Sure.
Your Honor, based on the facts and prior history, the state would be specifically discharging of a machine gun that he's currently on parole for. The state would be seeking $50,000 on one and $25,000 on two, and no weapons, no victim contact, and a GPS ankle monitor. If allowed, no.
It's understood.
Okay.
Judge, right now it's being Mr. Munson. There's no way that he can afford what the state has requested at this time, $75,000, let alone the standard bond, which is currently in place. Right now, he got a job about 5 months ago, working at a local hotel as a prep cook. He's been there about 5 months, making only about $10 an hour. He's renting a room in Oakland Park where his monthly rent is $650. My understanding is he does have family that may be able to help him out, but they're not going to be able to afford the bond as it currently sits as far as $25,000. So we're asking the court that into consideration in determining reasonable release conditions for Mr. Munson.
All right, the allegations that I have, this print is so faint that even with my glasses, it doesn't help. But the allegations that I have is that the alleged victim has obtained a protective order, even though it's not yet been served by BSO, is what it says. And this German has become more aggressive with his messages. He's told her that you're gonna pay for everything, I swear, I'm gonna kill your ASS, I'm playing games, watch me, and I still got my gun. How about that? On another occasion, on FaceTime, he brandished a black firearm and pointed it at the phone and said something to the effect, how do you like that? And they have a screenshot of that. He's also sent messages containing photos of the victim's family, street signs around the area where she lives, and that he would be showing up at her place of employment. All right, those are the allegations that I have before me this morning, and so based on those allegations, I am going to grant the state's request for a $50,000 bond on one, a $20,000 bond on two, and if Mr. Munson posts his bond, he'll be on a level 2 pretrial. No victim contact, which means no phone calls, no text messages, no social media, no third-party contact. Do you understand that, sir? No possession of any weapons or firearms. Do you understand that?
I don't have a weapon.
Okay, yes.
What I would request, and I don't know if pretrial would already include this, but just with specificity, based on these specific allegations, that the no contact order be applied to not only where the victim resides and works, but any place she frequents.
Okay. So bottom line is, sir, you can't be anywhere where this person is, not at her job, not at her home, or anywhere else. Do you understand that?
I'm aware, ma'am.
Okay. All right, thank you. William Valenti. All right.
Judge Powell, can you put him on a brief recall? I'm trying to get him down here.
Okay, all right, thank you. Gregory Dunning.
Mr. Dunning is approaching. He declined the service of public defender. He intends on hiring his own private counsel.
No, I don't. I need an attorney.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't have him.
Judge, if we could have, put him on recall so I can speak to him.
All right, John Wright.
Mr. Wright is here, Judge, and he declined public defender. He's gonna hire his own attorney.
All right, Mr. Wright, is that correct? You are hiring your own counsel?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you're before the court today for selling heroin within 1,000 feet of a place of worship. I find probable cause. And you have a $7,500 bond, sir.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Kendrick Freeman.
Mr. Freeman, North Broward, Judge.
Same situation, Your Honor. They're coming from the same housing unit.
Okay.
They should be on their way, though.
All right. Just let me know when they're there. Nathaniel Akins. Mr. Akins bonded.
Bonded.
Rashad Hayes.
Mr. Rashad Hayes, bonded, Judge.
Terrell Hill.
He is here. Come on up, Mr. Hill.
All right.
This is Terrell Hill, Your Honor?
Yes.
Before Your Honor makes probable cause determination.
Yes.
After looking at the PC, the state would concede that this would be probable cause for strong arm robbery, for brandishing the object that a victim believed to be a weapon.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Hill, I find probable cause for strong strong armed robbery, and, I'll hear,
I
Yes.
apologize, Your Honor.
No, go ahead.
The state would be asking bond of 5,000.
okay.
Judge, I could hardly hear what was going on.
So, it says robbery with a firearm. The state is conceding that it's strong armed robbery. And so that's what we have, and they're asking for $5,000 in
For
Oh,
bond.
record purposes, it was charged robbery weapon.
It was, I'm sorry, robbery with a weapon.
Judge, I just explained to Mr. Hill what the court found probable cause for. Mr. Hill is looking forward to having his day in court and disputing these allegations. He's adamant that there was no weapon involved in this incident, or no threat, or no force. My understanding, Judge, and speaking, Mr. Hill, the $5,000 bond which the state has requested is something he cannot afford. He's 34 years old, been living here his whole entire life. Right now, he is looking for work. He's unemployed. He lives in West Palm Beach with his grandmother. His grandmother's on disability, and she can't afford to help him post a monetary bond. My understanding, Judge, he has limited recent contact with the criminal justice system. I believe maybe a recent misdemeanor. But before that, it was about 5 years ago. So from what Mr. Hill advised me, he's been about 5 years clean with the criminal justice system. So he's asking if the court would consider releasing him on pretrial release so he can fight this from the outside.
What
Just
is
a moment
his
to review.
history? No.
I apologize, Your Honor, just one moment.
Problem.
Seeing a 2019 paraphernalia and trespass. This is all out of Palm Beach, Your Honor. He's had previous arrests, Your Honor, which have been dropped out of Palm Beach.
All right, Mr. Hill, has a $5,000 bond, which I'm going to leave in place, and, no return to this location. Okay. Do we have Brandon Paramore today?
And Judge, whenever the court is ready, we're ready to proceed on Mr. Dunning.
All right, do we have, Brandon Paramore today?
North Broward, Judge?
North Broward, do you have Brandon Paramore today?
My docket says Maine.
All right, so somebody needs to find Mr. Paramore.
I think he is in North Broward, Deputy.
I'll look him up. I do have Valente and Freeman now.
All right, okay, so Mr. Romero, who did you have?
Mr. Dunning, who's on recall. Come on up,
All
sir.
right. All right, Mr. Dunning, you are before the court on charge 1 is fraud, uttering a false instrument. Number 2, fraud, misrepresenting self, commit personal ID. And 2, 3, and 4 are out-of-county felony holds. These are for grand theft charges out of Columbia County. Both of those charges have $5,000 bonds attached to them. I find probable cause.
Judge, I did talk to Mr. Dunning as far as in reference to count 3 and 4. There is a bump, but unfortunately, it's not here for magistrates. We can't modify it at this time. But in reference to counts 1 and 2, he did give me the phone number of his friend Paul, who Mr. Dunning informed me will be able to post his bond in reference to counts 1 and 2, Judge.
All right, I don't know what the nature of the charges are out of Columbia County, but, except all I know is that they're for grand theft. And here, we have the allegations are that Mr. Dunning goes into a check cashing store and, attempted to cash a check, allegedly from Yukon Construction, Inc., which it came back invalid, so this is also another charge of fraud, 2 other charges of fraud. I am going to increase the bond on 1 and 2 to $5,000 as well. Okay. John Newsom. Mr. Newsom was reset from yesterday. Is he here today?
Yes, medical reset.
That was a medical reset? Okay.
Yes, Judge.
All right, James Hahn.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, so Mr. Hahn is before the court for purchasing heroin, and I find probable cause.
Judge, Mr. Hahn is going to be requesting pretrial release. He doesn't know if he can post his monetary bond.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would just state that he has priors in New Jersey, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, and that he pled a felony down to a drug paraphernalia in Palm Beach County this
That
year.
happened this year? All right, Mr. Hahn, I am going to leave your bond at $3,500.
Judge, would you consider a bond reduction?
No. Brandon Acosta. All right, Mr. Acosta is before the court on charge 1 is a felony KPS. That has a no bond hold and is not for magistrate. It looks like before Judge McCarthy. Number 2 is 2 and 3 are traffic KPSs. Number 2 has a $100 bond. And on number 3, you've been ROR'd. So I find probable cause, and you'll see your division judge on Monday at 8:30 a.m. All right. All right. Mr. Romero, do you have anyone else at Maine?
No, Judge.
All right, thank
Judge,
you.
Mr. Acosta is asking if the court would consider on count 2 an ROR.
I'm denying that.
It was, right, okay.
Okay. All right. North Broward, who do we have?
Valente, William.
All right, William Valente. Mr. Valente, you're before the court on 1 charge of robbery by sudden snatching without a firearm.
I didn't really actually do anything. I just walked to a Publix from a Pride Center.
Don't say anything about the facts of your case at this point, Mr. Valenti. Really, right now, you don't even want to put yourself at the scene. I know we didn't get a chance to talk because they just brought you down. Can you afford any kind of bond?
No.
All right, I find probable cause. State, does Mr. Valenti have any priors or?
Possession of oxycodone, just one pill.
All right, Mr. Valenti, I'm asking the state, okay?
I'm sorry.
Just
Yes.
one moment to review, Your Honor.
Okay.
He has some out-of-state priors that are unrelated to this. In terms of misdemeanor offenses, in terms of locally, he pleaded magistrates to a trespass and in 15 and in 2000 possession of oxycodone pleaded. The state was asking for a $5,000 bond.
Well, I think Mr. Valenti has indicated he's not going to be able to post much of a monetary bond, Judge. It doesn't sound as though his contact with the criminal justice system is all that extensive. I'd ask the court to consider pretrial release for him.
Where does Mr. Valenti live? The probable cause affidavit says at large.
Do you have an address, sir?
No.
Where would you go if you were released?
Just downtown.
Where?
Downtown.
Can you be more specific?
You know, Revolution Live, that area.
All right, I am going to impose a $3,500 bond. It looks like this is a stranger, because the allegations are that you grabbed someone's purse and took off with it.
You know,
I'm not
Don't-
asking
don't
you
say
to talk
anything,
about the case. Your bond is $3,500, okay?
how long will I be in here for?
When you post your bond. Kendrick Freeman. All right, Mr. Freeman is before the court. Charge 1 is burglary, occupied structure unarmed. Number 2 is petty theft. And number 3 is trespassing on school grounds. And I find probable cause. State? Sure.
Your Honor, we'd be asking for $5,000 bond and no return. He has an active warrant out of South Carolina for robbery, or burglary, I apologize, in 2018.
Can you make any kind of a monetary bond, Mr. Freeman? What's the matter? Hold on one second, Judge.
Is deputies, does Mr. Freeman not speak?
Hey, Deputy, what's up with Mr. Freeman?
Oh, give me 1 second, John.
Okay. Probable cause affidavit says, when when police arrived at, the St. Thomas, that he was leg swept to the ground where he continued to resist and faking a seizure. EMS was summoned and he was transported to, BGH where he refused treatment. And he was subsequently booked. There is no allegation that, he doesn't speak. Yes?
I'm trying to get in touch with medical. I will go home.
Oh, so he does speak.
I go home.
All right, this would seem to be in line with, the fact that he was faking illness before, and now he's before the court. He was gesturing with his hand and not saying a word. Now he's saying that he wants to go home. All right, I find probable cause, and I am going to impose a $7,500 bond on one, and five, and $1,000 bond on 2 and 3. No return to that location, okay? Do you understand that, sir? Mr. Freeman, I know that you know how to speak, so my question to you is, do you understand when I say no return? Okay. All right, Deputy, thank you. All right, do you have Brendan Paramore?
He's refusing.
All right, was he a refusal before? Because I have notes that there was a medical, and then,
Well, my coworker just went down to get him, and he said he just laid there and said he's not coming.
okay, well, today it is a refusal. I am going to move forward to finding probable cause today.
Your Honor, in light of the no bond holds, well, assuming the court finds probable cause,
I find probable cause.
in light of the no bond holds, I'd be requesting a $3,500 bond on one.
All right, so charge number 1 is the only one without a standard bond. I am going to impose that $3,500 bond. The other standard bonds will remain in place, and he has no bond holds on 4, 5, and 6. And I'll make a note that he refused.
He scares me too.
Actually,
All right. All right, so we have one more case that we're waiting for the Russian interpreter.
Yes, Judge, my last update was that she is in another courtroom, and as soon as she's done there, she'll be on her way to us.
And Madam Clerk, did we get the paperwork yet? It's on the way?
And Mr. Molnar is in Conti, they have him there already.
All right, so as soon as we have everybody in place, then we'll call that case. Yes, we can take a break. he? And his name is what?
Martin Molnar.
All right, Martin Molnar.
Martin Molnar.
All right, good morning. Mr. Molnar, you were here yesterday?
Мистер Молнар,
Yes, ma'am.
вы говорите по-русски?
Здравствуйте, да, доброе утро.
Здравствуйте, да. Вы вчера были здесь.
And there was no Russian interpreter available at the time.
И в то время не было русского переводчика.
And so you're brought back just so that you're clear as to what happened yesterday.
Значит, вас вернули обратно, чтобы просто объяснить вам, что вчера произошло.
Хорошо.
So you were here for on a 30-day motion for release.
Вы здесь вчера находились по поводу ходатайства на 30 дней, чтобы вас выпустили.
The state asked for an extension of time until October 16th, which I granted.
И прокуратура попросила продление до 16 октября, и я предоставила им, я удовлетворила их ходатайство.
And I signed an order that said that if the state does not file the charges by October 16th, you're automatically released.
И я выписала приказ, что если до 16 октября прокуратура против вас не выдвинет обвинения, вас автоматически освободят.
Хорошо, я понял.
That's good, I understand.
And then the other issue is that there is an immigration hold.
И другой вопрос в том, что есть иммиграционный запрос на вас.
Now that I have no control over, and it has a no bond hold.
И это я этим не могу заниматься, и там нет невозможно выйти под залог.
All right. So
Да, я просто хотел сказать им, что я все уже подписал с ICE, то есть я уже хочу чем быстрее поехать домой. То есть я не хочу здесь остаться, да, я хочу домой поехать чем скорее.
Well, no, I just wanted to say that I already signed everything with ICE, and I want to go home as soon as possible. I don't want to stay here. I want to, get home.
All right. Well, ICE I have no control over.
Я никак не контролирую ICE.
And as I said before, I signed that order that if the state does not file the charges by October 16th, you're automatically ROR'd on that.
Да, и я уже сказала вам, что я подписала приказ, что если прокуратура не выдвинет против вас обвинения до 16 октября, вас автоматически выпускают.
Хорошо, я понял. Спасибо вам большое.
That's good, I understand that. Thank you so much.
All right, good luck, sir.
Хорошо, удачи вам.
Thank you, bye. Спасибо вам большое. До
Пожалуйста,
свидания.
да. Yes, thank you. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Helen. I signed it. All right, see everybody at 1 p.m.